So this is the 22nd national poll that the Harvard Institute of Politics has done surveying attitudes among young adult voters. What did you find?
We found that overall there's much less enthusiasm about politics in general and specifically about this campaign compared to where we were 4 years ago.
So President Obama swept into office in 2008 largely on the support of an overwhelming youth vote. But since then we've seen some drifting happening. Where are young adults today?
Well, Susan, we've seen drifting in two different scenarios. One is among the people who are overall excited to participate in the election, and the number of people who will actually be turning out on election day. There's been significant drift there, where the number of millennials, folks under the age of 30, will be significantly less, I predict, than we'll see compared to 2008, number one. Number two, he's seen some drifting where in 2008 he won among millennials by a 66-32 margin against John McCain. And it's not quite there yet. He's still polling in the mid-50s.
The drop-off in enthusiasm is striking. What do you think is behind those numbers?
I think a couple of things. I think there's a segment of the electorate who participated in 2008 because it was a thing to do. It was truly a historic moment in the history of our country. And there were some folks who aren't necessarily engaged with politics on a day-to-day basis who went out and cast that vote to tell their family and their kids and perhaps their grandkids that they helped change the course of America. So there's some drifting among that group, and certainly it's been a very difficult time over the last couple of years in terms of the economy and challenges that young people have. And they've been, frankly, extremely disappointed in all of Washington, losing trust and faith in public institutions, which has kind of created some disaffection.
Now, those who are sticking with Mr. Obama say their expectations have changed.
Yeah, this is a generation, especially the younger millennials, is a generation that came of age not from 9/11 and Katrina, but actually came of age during the Great Recession. So they're much more pragmatic today than they were, I think, a couple of years ago. And when we asked young people which of two statements comes closest to their own view, almost 2/3 of young people say the challenges that Obama had were so complex and difficult, it takes 4 years, more than 4 years to do the job.
Now, overall, Hispanic voters overwhelmingly support President Obama compared with Mr. Romney. But among Hispanic youth, we're seeing something that's quite different. What's going on with young adults who are Hispanic?
It's a two-part question, because the first part, those who vote do support Obama overwhelmingly.
Okay.
The problem, though, among young Hispanics is that they're significantly less likely to vote than their African American and white voters. In fact, in our most recent survey, less than 40% say they'll definitely vote, which is of concern because 3 of the most important swing states have a very high concentration of Hispanics, obviously Colorado, New Mexico, and Florida.
One of the things that I think is so enlightening about this poll is that it is part of a continuum, and you've been watching trends since 2000 rather closely, and you can really say a lot about the direction of youth attitudes in the country based on your findings.
Although today a lot of the attitudes look like the attitudes from 2000 in terms of disinterest in politics and political structure, young Americans continue to care deeply about their country. They may not vote in the numbers we'd like them to vote, but they are participating through civic organizations, through community service and volunteerism and those kinds of things.